Hey everyone, Elizabeth here. The Last Laugh delivers stories that leave you speechless. If you're here for it, hit subscribe and let's go.
The email arrived on a Tuesday morning while I was reviewing classified intelligence reports in my home office. Subject line: Richard Thompson's Civic Excellence Award Ceremony Family Invitation. I opened it already knowing what I'd find. Dear family members, you are cordially invited to attend Richard Thompson's Civic Excellence Award ceremony on Saturday, October 14th, at the Grand Metropolitan Hotel. This prestigious event will honor your father's 30 years of community leadership. Black tie required. Distinguished guests include the mayor, city council members, and prominent business leaders. Given the formal nature of this event and the caliber of attendees, we ask that you carefully consider whether this gathering aligns with your current social standing. The atmosphere will be quite sophisticated. RSVP by October 7th. Warmly, the Thompson Family Event Committee. I read it 3 times, focusing on that middle paragraph. Current social standing. Carefully consider. They'd found a polite way to uninvite me to my own father's award ceremony. My phone buzzed. A text from my brother Marcus. Dad's receiving an award from the mayor. Black tie event. Real professionals attending. Maybe sit this one out. Then my sister Jennifer. The invitation was Mom's idea of being nice. You'll be uncomfortable with Dad's business associates there. I set my phone down and returned to the intelligence briefing on my screen. 3 terrorist financing networks. $847 million in tracked transactions. Tomorrow's presentation to the Joint Chiefs required my full attention. I typed a simple reply to the family group chat. Understood. I wasn't always the family disappointment. That designation came gradually, like water eroding stone. It started 8 years ago when I told my family I was joining the government instead of accepting the corporate law position my father had arranged. Dad's firm had a spot waiting. $180,000 starting salary. Partnership track. Everything mapped out. I've accepted a position with the Treasury Department, I'd announced at Sunday dinner. The silence was deafening. Treasury. Dad finally said. Doing what exactly? Financial crimes analysis. Following money trails, investigating fraud networks. For what salary? Mom asked. $65,000. Marcus laughed. Actually laughed. You turned down corporate law for a government desk job making barely above minimum wage? It's important work. It's career suicide, Dad said flatly. But fine. Make your mistakes. You'll come crawling back in a year. I didn't crawl back. What they didn't know was that my desk job was with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Within 6 months, I'd cracked a $340 million laundering scheme. Within a year, I'd helped dismantle 3 international fraud networks. Within 2 years, I had TS/SCI clearance, top secret/sensitive compartmented information, the highest level of security classification in the U.S. government. By year 3, I was briefing senators. By year 4, I was briefing the FBI director. By year 5, I was the youngest person ever appointed as Senior Intelligence Advisor to the Secretary of Defense, specializing in financial warfare and economic security threats. My actual title was classified. My salary was $285,000, not including classified project bonuses. My security detail cost the government $1.2 million annually. But to my family, I was still the disappointing daughter who chose a government desk job over real success. Family dinners became interrogations. Still shuffling papers at Treasury? Dad would ask. Still living in that tiny apartment? Mom would add. My associate made partner this year, Marcus would mention. His bonus alone was $400,000. When are you going to get a real job? Jennifer would sigh. I never corrected them. Partly because my work was classified. Partly because I was tired of defending myself. Mostly because I'd learned something important. Their opinion of me said everything about them and nothing about me. I lived simply. My apartment was modest because I was rarely home, usually traveling to classified facilities or attending emergency briefings. I drove a 7-year-old Honda because I didn't need to prove anything with a car. I wore simple clothes because half my wardrobe had to pass security screening anyway. To them it looked like failure. To me it was strategy. The award ceremony invitation sat in my inbox like a small bomb. I knew I should attend. He was still my father. But the wording, "Carefully consider whether this aligns with your current social standing," stung more than I wanted to admit. My phone rang. Restricted number. Thompson. Ma'am, this is Agent Morrison from your security detail. We've flagged the October 14th event on your calendar. The Grand Metropolitan Hotel. Do you want us to advance it? I'd forgotten. Any public event I attended required advanced security assessment. The Secret Service had assigned me a protective detail 6 months ago after a credible threat from an international crime syndicate I'd helped prosecute. Stand down, I said. I'm not attending. Copy that. I hung up and stared at the invitation again. My work phone buzzed. This time it was Director Patricia Chun of the FBI. Sarah, I need you at Quantico on the 14th. We're presenting the Joint Task Force findings to the President's National Security Council. Your lead on the financial warfare component. October 14th. The same day as Dad's ceremony. I'll be there, I said. This is the big one, Director Chin continued. We're talking about protecting $2.3 trillion in U.S. assets from hostile state actors. The President specifically requested you. After we hung up, I replied to the family invitation. Unable to attend. Work commitment. Congratulations to Dad. Marcus responded within minutes. Work commitment? It's a Saturday. What government job requires Saturday work? Jennifer, this is Dad's biggest honor. You can't skip one day of filing paperwork. Mom, your brother is flying in from Boston. Your sister is canceling a spa weekend. But you're too busy. I didn't reply. The truth was, I was protecting American economic infrastructure from cyber attacks that could collapse the banking system. I was tracking terrorist financing networks across 47 countries. I was briefing the President of the United States on threats they'd never hear about on the news. But to my family I was just stubborn. Just difficult. Just the daughter who couldn't get her priorities straight. Saturday, October 14th arrived cold and clear. I was in my apartment at 5 a.m., reviewing my presentation for the National Security Council. My security detail would pick me up at 6:30 a.m. The briefing started at 9 a.m. at a classified location. My phone buzzed with family text. Jennifer, getting ready. This hotel is gorgeous. Marcus, Dad looks so happy. Wish you could see him. Mom, the mayor just arrived. So many important people here. I silenced my phone. At 6:30 a.m., 2 black SUVs pulled up outside my building. Agent Morrison and Agent Kim, my assigned detail. Morning, ma'am, Morrison said. Quantico first, then the classified facility for the NSC briefing. Let's go. We drove in silence. I reviewed my notes. $2.3 trillion in protected assets. 17 prevented attacks. 3 captured state actors. My team's work over the past 18 months had quite literally prevented economic warfare. My personal phone buzzed again. I glanced at it. Dad's ceremony was starting at 6 p.m. It was now 7:15 a.m. I had 11 hours before I needed to think about it. Except I couldn't stop thinking about it. The NSC briefing went flawlessly. 3 hours of detailed intelligence presentation. The President asked 17 questions. I answered all 17. Director Chin nodded approvingly. Exceptional work, Ms. Thompson, the President said. Your team has prevented what could have been the worst economic attack in American history. The nation owes you a debt we can never properly acknowledge. Thank you, Mr. President. Afterward, Director Chin pulled me aside. Sarah, the ceremony for your father. It's tonight, isn't it? I blinked. How did you? I do my homework on my people. What time does it start? 6 p.m. But I'm not attending. Why not? I hesitated. They don't want me there. Director Chin studied me. Your family doesn't know what you do they? No, ma'am. Most of it's classified. They think you're a low-level bureaucrat. Something like that. He checked her watch. It's 2:30 p.m. The ceremony is in 3.5 hours. Where is it? The Grand Metropolitan Hotel. Downtown. That's 40 minutes from here. She smiled. Your briefing is complete. Your work today is done. Agent Morrison. Morrison appeared instantly. Yes, Director? Miss Thompson needs to attend a family event tonight. Make it happen. Ma'am, I don't have formal attire. I protested. Director Chin raised an eyebrow. You're one of the most powerful intelligence officers in the country and you're worried about a dress? She turned to her assistant. Call my stylist. Tell her we need formal attire for Miss Thompson within the hour. Government credit card. Make it appropriate for a federal executive. Director, this isn't necessary. It absolutely is, she said firmly. Your family should see who you really are. And Sarah? I'm coming with you. At 5:45 p.m., 2 black SUVs pulled up to the Grand Metropolitan Hotel's main entrance. I was wearing a tailored black evening gown that cost more than my monthly rent. Director Chin sat beside me in the lead vehicle, wearing a navy dress and her official FBI credentials. Nervous? She asked. Terrified, I admitted. Good. That means you care. Now let's go show them what real success looks like. Morrison opened my door. I stepped out onto the red carpet. Literal red carpet because apparently Dad's award ceremony was that kind of event. Inside, the ballroom glittered. Crystal chandeliers. 500 guests in black tie. A string quartet playing. My family was right. This was sophisticated. I spotted them immediately. Dad in a tuxedo receiving congratulations. Mom in a silver gown. Marcus and Jennifer holding champagne flutes, laughing with a group of well-dressed people. None of them saw me enter. Director Chin touched my elbow. Wait here. She walked to the hotel manager, showed her credentials and spoke quietly. The manager's eyes widened. He nodded rapidly and pulled out a radio. Within 90 seconds, hotel security had quietly positioned themselves at every exit. Director Chin returned. Ready. For what? Your entrance. At that moment, 3 things happened simultaneously. First, the FBI's deputy director entered through the main doors with 4 agents. Second, 2 Secret Service agents I recognized from White House details appeared near the stage. Third, Director Chen's phone rang loudly. She answered on speaker. This is Secretary Williams, a voice said. The Secretary of Defense. Is Miss Thompson with you? Yes, Mr. Secretary. Tell her the President sends his congratulations on today's briefing. The Joint Chiefs want her back Monday for the implementation phase. The ballroom had gone quiet. People were staring. Director Chin smiled at me. Ready to stop hiding? She walked toward my family's table. I followed. Dad saw her first. His congratulatory smile faltered. He was a lawyer, he recognized federal authority when he saw it. Mr. Thompson? Director Chin said clearly, her voice carrying. I'm FBI Director Patricia Chin. I'm looking for your daughter, Sarah Thompson. I need to brief her on a classified matter. The Secretary of Defense is waiting. Dad's face went completely pale. Sarah? My Sarah. Sir. Where is she? I don't know if she's here. We didn't think she'd come. She's here, Director Chin said, stepping aside. I moved forward. The look on Dad's face was something I'd remember forever. Confusion. Disbelief. Sarah. Mom whispered. What's happening? Director Chin continued, addressing the now silent ballroom. For those who don't know, Miss Sarah Thompson is Senior Intelligence Advisor to the Secretary of Defense. She holds the highest security clearance in the United States government. This morning, she briefed the President on national security matters I cannot discuss. Tonight, she has a classified briefing in, she checked her watch, 20 minutes. I'm here to collect her. Marcus dropped his champagne glass. It shattered on the marble floor. Jennifer's mouth opened and closed without sound. Dad just stared. However, Director Chin added, since we have a few minutes and since Ms. Thompson's family is being honored tonight, I wanted to personally congratulate Mr. Thompson on his civic award. Your daughter speaks highly of you. I hadn't. But Director Chin was giving them a graceful out. The mayor approached, looking uncomfortable. Director Chin? I had no idea Sarah was. We all thought she was. A low-level bureaucrat? Director Chin smiled coolly. Ms. Thompson's work is classified for a reason. Most people make that assumption. It's actually quite useful for security purposes. He turned to me. Ma'am, the secretary is waiting. We need to go. I nodded, then looked at my father. Congratulations on your award, Dad. You've earned it. Sarah, wait, he started. But the deputy director was already at my elbow. Ma'am, we have a situation developing. Time sensitive. Director Chin addressed the room one last time. Apologies for the interruption. Please continue celebrating. Mr. Thompson, your daughter is extraordinary at her job. You should be very proud. We turned to leave. Wait. Marcus shouted. You're telling me Sarah works for the FBI? Not exactly, Director Chin said. The FBI works with her. There's a difference. But she drives a Honda. She lives in a tiny apartment. She makes $285,000 annually, not including classified bonuses, Director Chin said pleasantly. Plus she has a government-provided security detail that costs $1.2 million per year because several international crime syndicates have placed bounties on her head. The Honda and modest apartment are security measures. Mom grabbed the table for support. She briefed the president? Dad said faintly. This morning. For 3 hours. He specifically requested her. She's the foremost expert on financial warfare in the country. Jennifer found her voice. But we thought. You thought she was a failure, I said quietly. I know. The ballroom was absolutely silent. I let you think that, I continued, because most of my work is classified. Because I couldn't correct you without revealing national security information. And honestly, because I was tired of defending myself. Sarah, Dad started. I'm proud of you, Dad. I really am. This award honors Real Community Service. You deserve it. I paused. But I need you to understand something. While you were arranging corporate law positions, I was preventing terrorist attacks. While you were worried about my Honda, I was briefing senators on trillion-dollar threats. While you were embarrassed by my apartment, I was protecting American economic infrastructure. Morrison touched my elbow. Ma'am, we really need to go. I looked at my family one last time. I'll call you tomorrow. We should talk. As we walked toward the exit, the mayor's voice rang out. Miss Thompson? Thank you for your service. The city, the country is grateful. I nodded and kept walking. Behind me I heard Jennifer say, Oh my God. Oh my God. And Marcus, she briefed the president. The president. And Mom very quietly, we told her not to come. Director Chin and I rode in silence for several blocks. How do you feel? She finally asked. Honestly, I don't know. They're going to call. Probably within the hour. I know. What will you tell them? I thought about that. The truth. That I love them. That I forgive them. But that they need to understand what they did. My phone buzzed. Dad calling. I let it go to voicemail. It buzzed again. Marcus. Then Jennifer. Then Mom. You don't have to answer, Director Chin said gently. I will. Just, not yet. We arrived at the classified facility. I had actual work to do, a real briefing on counterterrorism financing that couldn't wait. But I checked my voicemails later that night. Dad, Sarah, please call me. I don't even know what to say. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Please call. Marcus, the FBI director? You work with the FBI director? I'm sorry for everything I said. Call me back. Jennifer, I told everyone you were embarrassing. I told them you failed. Sarah, I'm so sorry. Please talk to me. Mom, my baby girl briefed the president. And we told you not to come to a party. Sarah, I'll never forgive myself. Please come home. I listened to all of them twice. Then I called Dad. He answered on the first ring. Sarah. Hi, Dad. I don't know how to apologize for this. You don't have to apologize for not knowing classified information. Not for that, he said, his voice breaking. For assuming. For judging. For making you feel like you weren't good enough when you were. God, Sarah, you were saving the country. I was doing my job. The FBI director said you briefed the president. She said you've prevented attacks. She said. Most of it's classified, Dad. I can't talk about it. Can you talk about why you didn't tell us? I considered that. Initially because I couldn't, it was classified. Later because you'd made it clear you thought I was a failure. What was I supposed to say? Actually, I briefed senators, but I can't prove it. He was quiet for a long moment. We were horrible to you. You were disappointed. There's a difference. No, Sarah. We were cruel. We were judgmental. We assumed instead of asking. And tonight when the FBI director said you speak highly of us. His voice cracked. You don't speak highly of us. You can't possibly. I said you earned your award. That was true. Your mother is devastated. Marcus can't stop pacing. Jennifer has been crying for 2 hours. I'll talk to them. But not tonight. Tonight I have work. At 11 p.m. on a Saturday? National security doesn't follow business hours, Dad. Another pause. I'm proud of you. I should have said that years ago even without knowing what you did. I should have been proud that you followed your principles. That you chose meaningful work over money. That you became someone who briefs the president. My throat tightened. Thank you. Can we have dinner? When your schedule allows. Your actual schedule, I mean. Not the schedule we imagined you had. I'd like that. And Sarah? At your security level, you can't tell us most of what you do, can you? No. Then we'll stop asking. We'll stop judging. We'll just be your family. If you'll let us. I closed my eyes. I'd like that too. Sunday dinner had changed. We still gathered at my parents' house every other week, but the dynamic was completely different. Nobody asked about my job anymore except in the vaguest terms. How was your week? Instead of, what do you even do all day? Nobody compared me to Marcus's partnership or Jennifer's corner office. Nobody commented on my Honda or my apartment. They'd learned. Sarah, can you stay for coffee? Dad asked after dinner one Sunday in January. Sure. When everyone else had left, he brought out 2 cups and sat across from me. I've been thinking a lot about that night. The award ceremony. Dad. Let me say this. He took a breath. For 8 years I thought I'd failed as a father. That I'd raised a daughter who couldn't succeed. Who settled for less. Who didn't have ambition. Dad. I was wrong about everything. You didn't settle. You aimed higher than I could comprehend. You didn't lack ambition. You had ambition I couldn't measure. And I didn't fail as a father in the way I thought. I failed because I couldn't see my daughter's worth unless it was validated by someone I considered important. I set down my coffee cup. The FBI director had to tell me my daughter briefed the president before I was proud of her. That's my failure. Not yours. I forgive you, I said quietly. I know you do. That's what makes it worse. He smiled sadly. You forgave us while we were still being cruel to you. You're my family. And you're ours. The daughter who keeps us safe. Who protects our country. Who does things we'll never know about and probably couldn't handle knowing. He reached across the table and took my hand. I love you. I'm proud of you. And I'm sorry it took the FBI director showing up to make me see what was in front of me the whole time. I love you too, Dad. Your work, he said carefully. Is it dangerous? I thought about the death threats. The security detail. The international crime syndicates that wanted me dead. Sometimes. Can you tell me if you're safe? I have excellent protection. He nodded, accepting what I could offer. That's enough. Just be careful. Always. As I drove home that night in my Honda, my security detail following discreetly behind me, I thought about success and validation and family. I'd spent 8 years not needing their approval, building something meaningful without their recognition. But having them see me, felt better than I'd expected. My phone buzzed. Classified message. Another briefing. Another crisis. Another threat to neutralize. I smiled and headed home to change. Some people measure success in corner offices and bonuses. I measured it in prevented attacks and protected assets. And finally my family understood the difference.